This is a review for Management 310, test number 2, chapter 5. Here we go. Competency modeling. So this is a job where you look at other kind of jobs and see what kind of attributes would be needed to do a job. So I'll break that down. Let's just say I'm looking at lifeguards. If I'm the competency modeling person, like hired to do the competency modeling, I would look, okay, so someone who's a lifeguard, they need to be fit, they need to be brave, no CPR. That's kind of competency modeling. Next is contingent employees. So these are employees who are hired for a limited amount of time. And the way you can kind of remember this is like contingent means dependent on something. So if something is a limited time, it's like a fixed deal. So maybe you would hire someone who knows how to do a certain program that no one in your company does, but you only need it for one project. This would be a contingent employee, kind of like a temp. Next is critical incidence technique. So this is a technique that people who do competency modeling, which is number 1 that we just learned about, would do. So critical incidence technique is asking people on the job for common scenarios that make that happen in your job a lot. So if I'm interviewing a lifeguard, I might do like, what do you do on a day-to-day basis? You know, do you need to perform CPR? Or like, if someone's drowning, what are the things you need to do to save them? That would be critical incidence technique. You're kind of questioning the person. Next is flex time, and this is the idea that workers can choose from a number of different work schedules. Flexible time, it's kind of a little self-explanatory. Speaking of, the next word is job. Y'all know what a job is. They define it as related duties in an organization. Kind of interesting. Next is job analysis. So this is kind of like competency modeling, but it's more about present duties that are being performed right now. So instead of like looking at, oh, what would a future lifeguard need to do? Job analysis is like, okay, the lifeguard's like, what are they doing right now? Like, it's not so much hiring focused, it's present qualifications that people have and then like kind of improving those. That's job analysis. Next is job characteristics model. So this is what characteristics are important to increase productivity. And so this is kind of like efficiency maximization, I would say. So the job characteristics model, I'm going to stick with the same analogy because we're on it. What characteristics are important to increase the productivity of a lifeguard? Maybe you would do, if you're focusing on fitness, job characteristics model would kind of look at everybody's workout schedule, and kind of this next word is the actual action. It's job crafting. So this is kind of redesigning the job to fit the needs of someone's personality, so or like themselves. So job crafting would be like, okay, the job characteristics that successful lifeguards have is they are able to be really strong swimmers. Okay, job crafting. If someone's not a good swimmer, we're gonna stick them like on watch to tell the other lifeguards. I've never been a lifeguard. I don't know if that's an actual job, but you get the point. It's changing the job slightly so it better matches people's job skill sets. Next is job demands resource model. So this is the idea that a job is demanding, but it can be counteracted by human resources to support, which is the point of this class. So if someone has a lot of pressure, time pressure, or a workload, then that might be counteracted by like support, like an extra break or something like that. Next, and it's more focused not so much on elimination, but adding something good to counteract the bad. Next is job description. This is a freebie. This describes the title or purpose of a job. Next is job design, and this is described as identifying tasks each person will be responsible for and how it will be done. Kind of self-explanatory as well. Next is job enlargement. So this is adding more responsibilities to a job to make it less boring and more motivating. That's kind of crazy. You would think like in a job the less is better, but this is the idea that If someone has more responsibilities or like more tasks that are actually can be interesting, they'll like the job more. So I thought that was pretty interesting to learn about. Next is job enrichment, and this is a little different. It's not about adding more responsibilities. This is letting the employees have more decisions. So it's more like you feel, I'm forgetting the word, more agency. You have more power, control over your job, and this is supposed to enrich the job. Both are supposed to make the job more pleasant for the employees, but one is like adding more responsibility in terms of by doing that they're adding more tasks, and then the other is adding more responsibility through decision making. So enlargement is the first one, enrichment, decision making. Next is job rotation, and this is something that we're learning about how to make jobs better, and this is something I actually don't think I would like, but it's interesting. It's rotating employees to let them learn different skills. And I guess for soccer, I always think of it like this, like whenever the coach would like switch you positions a lot, it was kind of a little annoying because you'd be like, of course you want to be a team player, but it's like, okay, I learned this, now I can like get in a flow. But I know some people liked it and they like being versatile players, so shame on me. But job rotation is just the idea that you can give employees different roles in the company, and that will allow them to try new things, get more skills. Some employees like it, I don't know. Next is job specifications. So this is characteristics of the employee doing the job. So kind of obvious, just not necessarily like personality characteristics, but kind of what is needed to do a good job. Sorry, I'm kind of losing my voice. Position is duties that can be done by one person. So kind of like a role, kind of like a job, but it's singular, where job is more focused on like a combined, related duties in an organization. So it seems like it's more multifaceted. Next is subject matter experts, and this is people who provide information about jobs. So you might talk to a subject matter expert when you're interviewing for a job, or when they give you like a tour of this is what you're going to be doing. Next is telecommunicating, and I think this these flashcards are a little dated because this definition was basically just remote working. It's where you don't really come into the office, so just probably telephone, commuting, like going to work, just remote working. Next is workflow analysis. So this is the organization of how work flows, and it's a little obvious, but in a company it would be very important to have a workflow analysis, just to track how employees are getting stuff done. It's pretty cool. My dad has one on Airtable where it like tracks how much time he spends for each task, but if you were in HR, you could have that for all your employees and see the workflow and how much time people are spending on each project to increase productivity. I always thought workflow analysis was pretty cool. Next, I guess that's done with chapter 5. Okay, I'm going to do chapter 6 tomorrow because I'm losing my voice, but good luck on the test.